Reports that Bam Margera was hospitalized in December didn't explain just how close to death the Jackass star came, but now the daredevil is giving the full story in his own words. To usher in the new millennium in grand fashion, MTV debuted a show in October 2000 that remains as culturally relevant and hilarious as ever, Jackass. If you're somehow unfamiliar with the series, it featured a group of stuntmen and old friends doing pranks to each other and attempting wild stunts. To say it became a hit would be an understatement. Some of the original stars of the show, including Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O, have stayed in the public eye and kept the legacy of Jackass alive, but that hasn't been true for the entirety of the original crew. For one, there's Bam Margera, who has lived a roller coaster life since the now iconic MTV series first gained prominence. Margera has found himself in some terrifying and rather unsavory situations, including drama with some of his Jackass co-stars, Knoxville among them. Nevertheless, he's managed to power through and live to tell his story all these years later, but Margera revealed he recently came very close to death. On January 5, 2023, Margera stopped by the Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast to commemorate the end of his conservatorship. Before he could get to that, though, he had a scary story from the previous month to share with listeners. Right out of the gate, he shared the news of his own death.
It basically was pronounced dead on Elvis's birthday, December 8th.
Margera didn't realize it, but he'd been dealing with an extreme case of COVID-19. He added that his body started shutting down and he had 4 seizures, each of which lasted between 10 and 20 minutes. The 4th was so bad that he says he nearly bit off his tongue. Margera's tongue became swollen and began bleeding. Margera then swallowed the blood, which in turn resulted in him contracting pneumonia. Worse yet, on his way to the hospital, he went into a 5th seizure. With his swollen tongue, he couldn't breathe. When he finally came to in the hospital, he thought he'd only been there for a few hours. It couldn't have been more wrong. Shortly after waking up, he remembered being told,
I was like, dude, you've been here for nearly a week. We tried to take the tube out, and you weren't breathing on your own.
Thankfully, 8 days after being admitted to the hospital, Margera made a full recovery and was released. News outlets picked up on the story almost immediately. Steve-O mentioned that after hearing about it on the news and seeing Margera on a ventilator, he assumed the worst was right around the corner.
I'm just thinking, oh my God, this is it.
While Margera was in the hospital, Steve-O joked that if his friend didn't make it through, that would throw a serious wrench into his tour plans. Some fans loved the Jackass-style gallows humor, others didn't. Steve-O made sure to clarify that Margera's recovery was the top priority. Margera chimed in with a laugh and compared his newly raspy voice, thanks to the breathing tube, to that of Steve-O. Margera doesn't remember much of what happened to him prior to waking up in the hospital, saying that he essentially blacked out until he opened his eyes in the hospital bed. It's safe to assume he didn't miss a whole lot throughout his lengthy hospital stay. As if the past few years haven't shown it already, COVID-19 is no joke and is more than capable of killing at a moment's notice. It's good to hear that Bam Margera was able to recover from the deadly disease.